I just want to do God's will.
The kind of revolution that the world needs is a Christian revolution.
If you want a miracle, you've got to expect it to happen.
You are the recipients of God's grace and God's blessings, and you rejoice in that reality.
Welcome to Life Today Live. I'm Randy Robinson. This is one of the fun ones. You guys know I like to talk about things like movies and music. And today it's music, and it's with a couple of guys from a band that I've been listening to for quite a while because they've been making really good music for about that long. Chris Rohman and Dustin Lolli are members of a band called Sanctus Real, and all you got to do is Google that one. You're going to see lots of number one songs and chart songs and best-selling albums and all that good stuff because it's really great music. But beyond that, these guys are doing a great job of sharing the gospel in music and song and lifting people up, encouraging people. And they've taken a little time out of their schedules. Well, they've got some new music rolling out we're going to tell you about, some tours. So you might get to catch them live. But now they join me to talk a little music and whatever else we come up with. So appreciate you guys being here. Chris and Dustin, welcome to Life Today Live. Great to see you guys today.
Thank you.
So let me show people real quick. This is the difference. It's available now, as it says right there. A collection of new songs with some singles rolling out on radio soon, and you'll be hearing them. But you can already go check out some of that music. You guys pretty excited about the new stuff? It sounds great, by the way. I listened to all of it.
Thanks so much for listening. It is exciting to always release new music, and we've been in a season of we have our own record label, so we do it all ourselves. And it's fun when you have an idea for a song to bounce it off each other. And if it sticks, then to say, okay, well, let's record it and let's put it out. So that's kind of how this song came to be. I guess we wrote this late last year. Had been sitting on it for just a little bit. And yeah, we're just able to put it out about a month or so ago. Been playing it live. And yeah, it's going to radio very soon. So if you haven't heard it yet, hopefully you'll hear the difference on the radio sometime in June.
If not, we'll be calling up K-Love and saying, play me some Sanctus Real. So,
there you go. Yeah.
So, you know what? Whatever it takes.
Whatever it is, right. So what the difference, when you talk about the difference, give me a little bit of insight into the lyrics and sort of the mood behind the song.
Yeah. We kind of had over the last few years just this idea of writing songs of hope. We talked to a lot of people. I mean, we hit the road, and our songs, people want to talk to us about how our songs have made a difference in their lives. But one of the recurring themes we were hearing was that a lot of people were feeling very hopeless, and these are Christian people, right? And we just felt in our hearts over the last few years that we just needed to write songs of hope, and so we've done that. There's been a few other songs. And when Chris sent this cool riff to us and we were listening to it, we got into a room and just had another one of these ideas of like, it's the only difference between anybody like us and people that are hopeless is Jesus, right? Like, so we started having this conversation about what it means to actually believe in Jesus. And this song stems from that, because when you choose to believe in Jesus, it has to change things, right? Like I always say, he doesn't bring us hope or give us hope. He is our hope. I mean, just believing in him is hope because of what he did and who he is. And so you can't separate believing in him and having hope. And we just wanted to remind people of this, all good things come from him. And so these lines that are like, if I show any love, it's only because he first loved me. Everything we do is built on this belief that we have a foundation under our feet, that even when life gets hard, our belief system allows us to have foundation. And then it goes beyond that to him, interacting with him on an everyday basis. And so the song was kind of a declaration of it's basically, for me, it's a statement of faith, of belief, that this God of ours changes everything, right? It's the difference between who I was and who I am. And as long as I put my hope and trust in him, I can make it through any day, because my circumstances do not dictate my completeness in him. And so that's the idea of the song. We wanted people to just know that like there's always hope when you believe in Jesus.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, because that is the difference. It makes a difference in how you see yourself, how you see others, how you see God, how you see the world. So yeah, I mean, you're spot on that. All right, Chris, you bring the riffs. How do you guys write the lyrics? Is this a group thing, or is someone a little stronger in that category?
Dustin's great with lyric and melody. I like to chime in here or there, but it's been one of the cool things to watch over the last 10 years now that Dustin has been in the band.
Yeah.
Is the way we've kind of both developed in these skills, I guess. Like I do like to produce and write music, specifically on the guitar, usually. And I have a little home studio, and I'll usually just, you have to be diligent about it and make the time to sit down and be creative. But I find things to be inspired by, and then I pick up my guitar usually, and just the first few things that come out, I decide, okay, which one am I going to chase today? And that's kind of how I start the process. And then we have Dustin being in Nashville. I'm still in Ohio. A lot of our industry is in Nashville, and a lot of writers are down there that we've become very close friends with. And our publisher will usually set up rights where Dustin and I will go in with other writers. And, sometimes we play our ideas and see if it sticks. And sometimes they have ideas, but it's always an organic process for us. It's never something where people are just pitching us music or songs. Like we're very much wanting it to have our thumbprint on whatever we do. So whether it's self-producing our stuff or, like I said, we're our own record label at this point. So it's a very do-it-yourself thing with Sanctus Real, which I'm always on board for.
Yeah, so you bring up some interesting things because you guys are a little later for me. I don't know how many cassettes, but I certainly had CDs. But listening to the latest, to the difference, I went to Spotify. Of course, it's on Amazon Music and some titles, some other places. But the whole music industry, man, you've seen a little bit of change. What's it like for the artist?
I think it's a head trip. I'm going to let Chris answer most of this, but I think it's a head trip because you get used to one way of doing something, and pretty soon that way is like, the way of the dinosaurs. You're like, CDs, what are those?
Exactly.
So Chris, I'll let him chime in because they literally started in 1996, where I was consuming music. Yeah. And, that was like Napster era where you all of a sudden start burning your own things, right? Like, so it's crazy. It's a little bit of a head trip now. Everything's social media. I mean, Chris can tell you though, when they first signed, go ahead, Chris, like just how you first signed. I mean, everything changed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we did put out a cassette. I'll see if I have a copy and I'll send it your way, Randy.
All right,
but our first project ever it wasn't a single, but I think it only had like 4 songs on it. Maybe 6. I'm not sure. 3 on each side, But anyways, yeah, so much has changed. You can make a living doing music now. That's the main thing I would say. There's always been, when we first signed a record deal in 2002, the only way you could break into the music business that we knew of was to have a record deal and to get signed. So we tried to get signed, and to do that, we took CDs that we had produced ourselves and we took them down to Nashville. And during GMA week, we had backpacks full of these CDs and we handed them out to people who had lanyards on that were walking around that were obviously record company executives. And we waited for the phone to ring. We went back home to Ohio and we waited for the phone to ring. And wouldn't you know, Sparrow Records called us. They had gotten our CD from somebody somehow that we were passing out, and they were interested in signing us. And that's what we did. In 2002, we put out our first record. We ended up putting out 8 records total with them before Dustin joined. And now with our own record label, we've put out 3 full-length records. So there's a lot of Sanctus Real music out there from different eras. And I'm really proud of all the songs from the very first few that we did to now. I'm so excited to still be able to do this thing.
Yeah, no, it's great. I have a nerdy question. How do you record your stuff? Are you recording straight to a laptop, or you use a digital recorder?
Laptop. Yeah.
Laptop?
Yeah. I have an Apollo interface. So Universal Audio Apollo, which if you go to the Sweetwater website and you look up the Apollo Twin, you'll see a demo of us giving how we recorded our song Confidence at the Sweetwater studio.
Really?
That's something, yeah, it's something I'm pretty proud of. And I forgot about. So I was looking the other day. So I was thinking about replacing mine because it's so old now. But yeah, if you go to Sweetwater and maybe search Sanctus Real there. I don't know. Maybe that
Nice.
it might pop
All
up.
right. Yeah.
But
Good tip for all the
yeah,
musicians.
everything's on a laptop these
Okay.
days,
All
right?
right.
So
You
Yeah.
remember the old days, you had to go in these massive studios, right? You
Mhm.
like had to go. Now you go into some dude's basement
Right.
and it's this tiny little setup and the record comes out sounding better than it used to. So it's things have changed.
Yeah, no,
right.
yeah, no. I sat in on a recording session for a secular artist, and it was like literally in a house out near L.A. And I was like, "Where's all the equipment?" And it was like just a couple things over there. So that's what I'm curious. But
Yeah.
so you guys recently went to prison. I heard a rumor, something about you guys going to prison. Explain what that's all about.
Yeah, there was an organization called Send Musicians to Prison. Is an organization. They're still
Great
around.
idea. Great idea.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it's the only way to get to prison without committing a crime,
Oh,
basically.
okay.
No, they're one. What a great idea, and I love this, and I like to tout it because I think what they do is special.
Hmm.
I used to do some prison ministry with church back in the day. You go to the prison and you'd sit in the stone, the cold room, and you'd sit with a guitar, and maybe some guys would be in there, the guys who were believers. What they do is so special, man. They literally bring in a set. They want to make the prisoners feel welcome and give them an opportunity to just kind of have a reprieve and to hear songs of hope and inspiration. And so they will not go to a prison unless they can bring these warm lights, this warm stage presence, and they do it so well. They show so much care, and I thought it was really special what they do. And so to even get the invitation was kind of an honor to do it. And it's not just Christian artists. They actually have some secular artists who feel passionate about kind of serving prisoners and just bringing some hope. Uh, and it was different, as a lead singer frontman with the mic, it's different going into a prison of this is maximum security. These are guys who
Yeah.
have committed real crimes and your language, the things you say, everything has to be different. We're used to going into churches. Everybody understands the verbiage. Everybody understands the what we call Christianese, this language. It's different. I joke about this all the time. Chris here, there's a lot, but I joke about it because I thought about it. Like, if you said break free of your chains and be, well, the guards aren't going to like that much, right? Like if you say where the spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. It just does not go well in prison.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be very thoughtful. And I don't know if I've ever put in more thought or prayer into one event where I was like, God, I don't know the words to say. I'm going to definitely rely on you. And maybe I just don't say a lot. Maybe what I say, the few things I say have to have more meaning. And I was nervous, and I don't get nervous very much. And but it was beautiful. It ended up being beautiful. I mean, the prisoners responded in a way that I did not anticipate. At the end, it was just this beautiful moment. We played songs that aren't our big songs. It was the one time I think, you played our big songs and it was not the same. They didn't know them anyway, and they're just watching. And then we play these songs, folk, like these songs that are personal to us, and they went over so well, and you just the room shift. So you leave there, they're warning us as we're walking in, saying, watch your back, don't trust anybody. So you go in nervous. I mean, you
Yeah.
go in like on edge, but you leave there going, this is why Jesus called us to love people, right? Like this is why he wanted us to go to prisons, because you feel that. You feel like you got to represent Jesus to people who just, I mean, they're living in hell. Let's be honest. I mean, to be in a maximum security prison to live in live like earthly hell. And so to be able to just bring a moment of heaven and give them a piece of that was really meaningful, at
Yeah.
least to me.
No, that's very cool. I love it. All right, we'll talk about making a difference in guys' lives. I mean, that's a place where you can make a difference. So the difference is the name of their new EP. It's available now wherever you get music, so you can go check that out. Again, hitting radio very soon. So call and request that one. The difference, as well as "You Are I Am," the other single releasing. So good stuff coming out. I'm curious. So you when you stand on stage, I know sometimes with the lights you can't really see the audience, but have there been any moments with either of you guys where you're watching the audience and you're seeing God do something outside of the prison, but you're seeing your music making a difference in people's lives, and you know that you're just a conduit for God's Spirit to work in their lives? I'm just curious because you've been on stage long enough. There have to be some moments where you just kind of, as you're playing or singing, look out there and go, something's going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think specifically of what it was this last time. For me, I think it was last year. I remember just for whatever reason, I don't look out much. Like I'm playing guitar, I'm trying to focus, but I do catch glimpses. And there was this older woman in the crowd, and she was with, I assumed her husband, who was in a wheelchair, and they were probably in their 80s.
Hmm.
And she was standing up and she was worshiping and having a good time. And I just thought it was so special that I don't know, it was right before the last song. I literally stepped off the stage, went over to her, gave her a hug, gave her my guitar pick, got back on stage, played the last song. And then after the show, I saw her and her family, and somebody told me it was just so special that that moment happened because she works with, she had just retired, I think, from a job that was very stressful, working with foster kids.
Mm.
And that night was something she wouldn't usually get to be part of. And her husband had all these health issues, but it just was one of those connections that was made. I could see something special there. And sometimes you just have to go with it and, either say something or give someone a hug. Those moments happen often for me, I guess. There's a number of those where you don't really know what God's doing in that moment, but you just know you got to let that person know that you're glad they're there. And we get people, you don't know where they're coming from when they come to our shows. So a lot of times people are looking for hope, looking for peace, coming to a Christian concert. There's people who have never seen a Christian concert coming for the first time. We get a lot of those kind of people who have no idea who Sanctus Real is. Maybe they heard one song on the radio or they saw a video and they're just checking it out. So there's always opportunities to hopefully brighten somebody's day with whatever it is, whether it's through the songs or on or off the stage, honestly.
Yeah, that illustrates an interesting point because you guys aren't just musicians. What's sort of the mindset when you roll into a concert? Obviously, you want, because I mean, you got to worry about sound, you got to worry about lights, you got to make sure that you play the right notes and sing the right lyrics and stuff. But there's this whole added aspect of ministry that's not there for like a secular artist. I mean, it's not the escapism that a lot of people go to at a secular concert, or just the music enjoyment. What's sort of your mindset when you hit the stage?
Yeah, that's a great observation because you go throughout the day, you're on the road. Sometimes you're really tired about to get on stage, right? I think the reality for us is, for me especially, is every time we hit that stage, somebody, like, if we're Christians, if we're believers, then we believe the value of one soul, right? The value of one. We don't know their story. We don't know what they've been through, like you were saying. And so it's almost like for me, especially as the guy with the microphone, I don't want every night to start feeling routine. We play the same songs, but I don't want to have a canned ministry moment. And there have been many, Chris will say, many times where I go way off script just because I feel like there's something unique here, right? There's something happening here. But every night it's this awareness, one, that God is in the room,
Mm.
and two, that we do what we do because we love people and we believe in Jesus. And so every night is an opportunity, even if we don't feel it. We don't always feel great, right? We don't always feel rested. We don't always feel like playing our songs. Let's be honest, right? Uh, but when we get on stage, I will say there's very few nights where I'm not overwhelmed with the opportunity to represent Jesus well to people, and people are coming because they love a song. And I will tell you this too. One of the things that keeps us going, Chris was talking about this lady, is how many stories we hear on the road about how one of our songs impacted people.
Hmm.
And we take that part of it very serious, that the voice that we have, the impact that it's possible. So we don't every song we write lyrically, like we want it to have a message. We are intentional about bringing life to people through our music, and not just being about, hey, this is a cool hook, or this is going to get big. This is people can sing, and that we want it to have a message. And so our shows reflect that. What we sing allows us to have conversation and really talk about people's stories and engage in that way. And it's special. I mean, I think that's the reason why we can go through nights where we don't feel like it. I call them professional nights, where you have to be professional and do it even if you don't feel like it.
Right.
Those professional nights turn into many times have turned into the most God nights, because you go on stage and you just go, okay, I'm here. I might as well make the most of this opportunity. And many times those are the nights where you're like, oh, well, God did something really, really unique here. I mean, I remember last year we had an altar call in our second song. Like, we're just playing songs and kids just start coming to the altar. And that night I think we only did like 6 songs and we just kind of flowed. So it's really crazy what God does sometimes. And it's really just like, okay, God, we're here with you. Like, help us to know what to do to facilitate your presence well.
I don't think most people think of it that being a musician, especially in a Christian band and worship setting or whatever, how you want to frame it, there's a professionalism that actually is required of that. And it's what you say, but you know what? When you do what Scripture says, you do everything as unto the Lord. You approach your job, whatever your job is, but when you approach it with the excellence, and I'm going to do this as if I'm doing it for God, whether it's playing guitar or singing or doing, an interview like this or whatever work, you're accounting, whatever it is, God honors that and he shows up. And, we're not as surprised when it's a Christian concert, but it's an interesting thing. And I think a lesson for everyone to learn. So you guys busy? You about to hit the road some more? I know you just came off of a few shows. How's your summer and fall looking?
We're looking to put something together really interesting for the fall and we have shows throughout the summer, but next year is 30 years for the band.
Hmm.
We started in 1996 and we're starting to think through what that looks like for next year. So there's probably going to be some really special stuff happening tour wise next year, but there's still stuff coming together for this fall as well.
Cool. All right. If you want to check out where Sanctus Real is coming up, you can go to their website. It looks like this. It's sanctusreal.com. You'll see the difference right there. Their lovely mug shots below it. A nice sepia tone image. Keeps you looking young. So that's always a good thing. All right.
You know the tricks. You're on to us.
I mean, you say 30 years, but I'm looking at you going, whoa, you 15 when this started? Anyway, we won't get into that. Last word to you guys, either one of you guys. I don't know. What do when people think of Sanctus Real as a band, as a brand, in a sense? I don't know. What do you want them to think of? How do you want to be known?
That's a great question.
No pressure.
I don't know if you understand that. Personally, as a person, I want to be known for stability and balance. I think we live in a world that reflects a lot of pop and just spark, and doesn't have a lot of just consistency and foundation. And I think, I hope to be a person that has a foundation, that good and bad, I want to be the same person. I want to look like Jesus. And for me, aside from making good music, I mean, we want to make great music. We're musicians. We love music. But in Christian music, I want to be a band that's stable. I want to be a band that reflects what we believe and is consistent with who we are and what we want to do. And I think the band, even before my time, set that foundation, and I want to continue that well. And so for me, it's, there's going to be a lot of flashy in entertainment and music. There's a lot of flash. You know, I would prefer to be a band that is consistent in faith and consistent in message and stable in our hope and who we are. So for me personally, that's what I want people to think. And we've never had this conversation as a band, so I want to hear what Chris says too.
I love what you said. I think about those times when I meet somebody on an airplane and you strike up a conversation. Like, what do you do? I don't shy away from saying I'm in a band, I play music, and it's a Christian rock band is what I say. And the conversation from there usually goes one of two ways, like, oh, I love Christian music, or I've never heard of your band, or I've never listened to Christian music. And I would hope that in all the music that we write and we put out, that when people have that interaction with experiencing Sanctus Real for the first time, wherever they're coming from, I hope that what we've done speaks truth, and I hope we try to write from the perspective, we write about our faith, but we write about it in a way that isn't just for the church to consume. And I think that's really important to us. And I would hope that somebody who's new to Christian music, who's seeking out faith, could listen to any number of Sanctus Real songs and really gain something from it, and not just hear something that's like this Christianese speak, but coming from a place of being real, which is in our band name and has been something we've always wanted to be for people. And I think as we've matured from being teenagers when we started to now, it's more and more important. And I think we can speak to it even more now, all the life experience we've had with these songs and these lyrics. So I just hope that we're putting out music that anybody can check out and not be turned off by, but instead be drawn in to the message and what's happening there.
Yeah. As an outsider, I think you guys do it. And as the name implies,
Thanks.
Sanctus meaning holy, real meaning genuine. You guys seem to be keeping it holy and keeping it real. So that's great. Appreciate both of you guys.
Thank you.
You guys, let's go get the numbers up. So this is how the industry works now. You go play the difference on wherever you listen to music, a lot and a lot and a lot. And it actually helps the band. And then you can check out the website and catch them in concert if they're in your area. But mainly, do what they say. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the message that they're trying to impart about God's grace. Again, appreciate both you guys, your time, and sharing with the audience today. Appreciate you guys out there watching. Hit the share button. Let other people know. If you haven't liked, followed, or subscribed to Life Today TV, wherever you're listening or watching, please do that. I'll bring you more insight to some great people like these guys today. We'll see you again next time on Life Today Live.